What it is, whiz kids. Father Moo here. Sunday morning, church is open. Come on in, sit down. It's funny, the last stream was called Octave Rainfall. And I was just going back through the patches, and I already made a patch. Number 29, Rainfall. So, that's not very creative of me, is it? Oh well. I extremely don't care about the patch names. It's one area where I just can't stress about it. I might care about what a track on an album was called, but I'm not even going to slightly beat myself up over that one. Anyway, prior to Octave Rainfall, I had a plan to build a little melodic Berlin school thing and then build some variation into it. And I got distracted in Berlin drone and went off on a tangent somewhere, all because one of the oscillators wasn't tuned to a pitch, which is not really that good of a reason to go off on a tangent. But that's what happened, and I don't want to abandon the idea, so I'm coming back to it again. What I'm going to do today is build up a couple of relatively simple voices and maybe a little bit of drums. I want to see if I can get some variation in the drums as well. And all of them, all the two voices, two melodic voices and three drum voices in the end should find themselves with knobs that can be twisted and then used to create variation. So let's do it. You can see me putting together a pretty standard config here. Let's call this one a square wave probably, running into the classic low pass filter and into the simple envelope. I had the plan to, or actually in the past, what I did was build a couple of different sequencers and then route the outputs of the sequencers either to the two pitch inputs or into a mixer and into one pitch input. But I thought it might be interesting today to have the variation among the CV, but have that variation take place before the key quantizing happens, which may or may not prove interesting. But what I can say is I'm going to try and stick to the plan, whereas on the last one I had a cool idea, so I got off topic. For this one, I'm going to at least try to stick to it. So let's build up what we got here. Let's build up we got a normal event sequencer here and a normal note sequencer. And for the purposes of right now, I'm going to throw in the key quantizer at the end. As per usual, I think 32 steps will be very reasonable. 64 tends to be too wild and out. So let's hook this same clock up. I'm going to set the resets for now, but I'm not sure if that's going to last forever. So let's just give this some randomness, route him to the input, just so we can make sure we're getting some kind of signal going here. Here's some steps. And send that to the envelope. Okay, got to turn this up to get more pitches. And I haven't really chosen the notes, so here we go. It's good. Let's open up the filter a bit. Pretty good right out the bat. Let's do our old trick. Just to be different, we gotta be different. I usually send a sine wave to the pulse width. Today I'm gonna send a slow, smooth, random wave instead. There you go. You hear that? That's lovely. That's just lovely. Great. The reverb isn't hurting either. So we got our voice. Let's give him some variation here. Let's give him another note sequencer. Oops. Gonna vary the notes a little bit. Clock him the same way. Well, this one, I'm going to actually make him 18 steps long. And now comes the mixing time. Or maybe I should call it the variation time. So there's the two sequencers patched into my crossfader. That's how they sound mixed together, which is what I like to call bad. But there they are in a much better way. Now, which one might this be? Not that one. There we go. So to semi-randomly swap between them, I need a square wave oscillator, which, as you may recall, is acting like a binary circuit here. And I need to crank this up to max. It's on the second pattern now. I think I need to take the reset out of here to allow the 18 steps to do what they're really doing. That's cool. So this melody, what I call melody 1, is a 16-step pattern that repeats regularly. When it switches, wait for the light to go on. Now we've switched. But because he's 18 steps, he doesn't loop normally. Let's try him on 20. We've gone back to the first one again. That's good, that's good. So this is what we wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do anyway. I'm going to move my LFOs over here and try to clean things up. So I've got my two sequencers and my crossfader. Again, these are all things you could be doing in VCV Rack or in pretty much any other modular synthesizer. A crossfader is not a very complex piece of technology, and neither is a square wave LFO. So setting this up isn't really that hard. I'm happy with what we got. Let's create another melody here. The square wave is doing a good job of being a melody line, so let's give the job of bass line to the next guy. Drop him down. For now, I'm going to put him in triangle wave. I don't think it'll necessarily have to stay there. Let's give him the classic filter again, just because it's cheap, and I have the feeling we're going to need the power. That voice really got set up quickly, didn't he? Well, whatever works, works. Let's put this one on 18 since the other guy's on 24. And we're going to do something similar with him here, so would it be cheating to copy all of these? Probably. It's probably too simplistic. So let's Okay, I'm just going to put a few notes in this baseline version. I'm going to re-randomize this. I'm going to leave this as a 16-step pattern. This is the so-called normal pattern. And I'm going to copy the clocking and the resets. Although I may do something different later. We'll see how it goes. And feed this guy to the pitch of 1. I think I can recycle channel 2 here to be the quote-unquote normal channel. That's an interesting point, actually. Although I did add variation of the notes, I didn't really add variation of when the triggering happens. But it sounds fine to me, so I'm going to leave it as it is. There's our baseline. Damn, it sounds good right off the bat, too. Maybe it's low pass filter that I like, but it sounds good to me, man. I have the feeling I want to take a shot and put in a clocked random step generator. So let's feed that into the filter, because it's always good. Maybe I give it too much. Maybe drop him a second octave. Let's see how it sounds. I think it's pretty good, man. Cool. So now we need variation for this guy as well. I copied my LFO, but I don't want them to go at the same speed. I want them to change at different random intervals. So I'm going to plug this one into the crossfade input. There's channel 1 of the baseline sequencer, so he can go in there. And the output back in there. So now he's switching between 1 and nothing, basically. So let's give him something different down here. The other guy had a 20-step sequence, but he's clocked to the same tempo. I was thinking, what if we divide the clock in half and then use that to run a sequence instead? I'll take the same clock from here, divide it by 2, and here will be sequence number 2. I don't know if we're going to set it to an unusual number of steps or not, but at the very least it'll be running at half speed. There's the clock. Randomize him. Gonna need a key quantizer again. So send this data to here, and then send it to channel 2 of my crossfading guy. Let's just mute number 1 so that we can hear. Is it really going slower? Now it's divided by 4. There's the other one. Maybe he needs a smaller range. That's the first pattern again. I'm not really getting as much variation as I'd liked. Okay, let's try it a different way. So now we've quantized only to one note. This is back to my Father Moo's ancient octave theory. We've increased the range to maximum, but all the notes are only going to be the root. So now we must be playing the melody. When you hear it switch to all octaves, you'll know. Watch. Here we go. Only this guy is way too crazy low. But the rest of them, that's pretty good. Okay, let's fade in the other guy. So again, I want to clean things up. I'm going to make this column the, or maybe, let's do it a different way. There we go. It's a bit more logical. And move. There we go. Move this guy down here. Their heights aren't identical because they don't have exactly the same moving parts, but close enough. And you can see here that this, by leaving this blank, it shows that this event sequencer is in charge of the whole dealio. So here's the LFO zone over here. We'll just build them up in the corner. They can stay in column 5. This is good. I'm digging it. All I need to do now is drums. And lucky for me, my frugality has given me almost 46%. I think I can get 3 drum sounds in there. That would be 36%. Hopefully there'll be more I can do with them than just that, but let's see what we can start with. This. But either way, I'm going to stick to my goal, which was to have variation, and I do have variation in my melody parts. I got 10% left here, so... Oops, went over. There we go. Okay, so copied the event sequencer. And here's a nice normal synced up 16-step pattern. I wonder where the 1 is. Either way, I know what I need here is some logic processors. In fact, I think I'm going to need 2 of them. And I think I want them both set to OR. Why? Because I'm going to send the kick... Channel 1 of this is going to be the kick drum. And channel 2 will be the snare drum. So they'll have their normal hits coming through, like boom, clack, coming from this sequencer. But by having another input here in the processor, I'll be able to send them another irregular or unexpected gate and get some variation in my pattern. So let's just deal with them first. We still got 7% on the mix. This is great. I can totally do it. Let's just get them going and see what we can... I don't think that's where I'm hearing the 1. No, not there either. Yeah. So I'm hearing it on the 3. I know these are randomly generated melodies, but I'm gonna trust the old ear on that one. Ooh, nice kick there. Let's try this. There's a little snare, kick pattern. Give him some snare as well. Yeah, reggaeton. I'm just kidding. It's not really. So there's our quote-unquote normal pattern. How are we gonna make it interesting? Well, we're gonna send weird other hits to the OR input. So let's do that now. One way I'm thinking could be clocked pattern generator. He didn't use up too much of my processing power, which is nice of him. So let's just make a random pattern on here and see what we get if we send it into the kick. Wow. Doesn't sound very in time, does it? Try adding the reset link. That's so odd. Well, that was it on XOR. Let's try it on OR again. Okay, well that's back to the normal pattern. Maybe we could try this strategy and use a crossfader again. Although we're gonna be running out of them pretty fast. Losing mixer. 1.7. Yeah, I can do it for at least 1. So I'm just gonna use one channel of it and send it to the input. And I'm going to make another LFO, despite the fact that it's getting very costly, and plug that into the crossfader. So there's an unusual pattern. When the LFO clicks over, watch here, bottom right, it should go back to the normal pattern. Seem to do so. Yeah, this is the one. It seems like the modified one. Wait for this light to go off again. It's not doing what I thought it would be doing, sadly enough. Okay, let's get rid of this. See if we feed a little randomness to hear what we get. Good. Let's try delta low. Good. I think we got. There we go. as I watched the sequencer pattern, I could hear the hits coming through, and I can also hear extra hits coming through occasionally from that. Oh, maybe this will help? Okay. Let's just repeat the process. Change the exact patterns. Don't need that to be not yet. And send this one to the snare. It's pretty good, actually. If I could make one more, can I? Oh, it's only 0.60. I think I can. Oops, no, that's the wrong one. 2.3. It's gonna be over. Shoot. I gotta find some space in my system here. I think I can kill this for now, although I don't like to. That was the clocked LFO that was modifying my bassline's filter, so I hate to lose him. But I need something to trigger my hi-hat with. There's even more variation for that snare. Let's take out, we'll still send it a random pattern, but we won't have it change for the hi-hat. We'll just have it play that whatever pattern it is. I think I like this one with shorter decay. Gonna try using this to take the place of the LFO who was lost and plug it into the input of the low pass filter. Wow, I think we really got there, didn't we? And we're at 99.8%. So we certainly have these repetitive but also varied drums, and we have repetitive but also varied melody line and bass line. So yeah, that is the goal I was going for in the previous session. So I'm happy the previous session ended up somewhere cool, but I don't like to throw an idea away, so we're back. Obviously I don't like to throw one away because I use the same name for the patch twice. Oh, I'm gonna call this one, oh, I know what I'm gonna call it. Berlin Variations, because that's really what it is. I don't think that'll fit. No. Berlin Variati. It's a classy ass name for a classy patch. Cool, isn't it? You can hear that melody, and you can hear it as it switches to something wacky. It keeps your brain entertained. There's the volume variation as well, using the pulse width and sweeping it so widely gives us a lot of variation there. Let's take the drums down a tad so we can still hear all our melodies. That's good. Would have loved to run the drums through a digitizer, but I clearly don't have any processing power left. This is as good as it gets, people. This is how it's supposed to sound. So to recap, 2 normal sequencers, 2 weird sequencers, swapping between them with the crossfader with the help of square wave LFOs. Oh look, this guy isn't in use anymore. Wonder what I can buy with that. I can't buy the digitizer, I can buy a quantizer for 0.51. All that does is reduce your bits down, but let's see if it sounds good on the hi-hat. I don't know if it will. That's cool. Maybe I can use this into the velocity. Get a bit more variation there too. Well, why is it doing that? Still not sure why that happened. Let's just try that again. It's very odd. It's not supposed to do that. Guess we'll have to skip it. Maybe try it into the pitch? I think I like 7 better than... It's still pretty cool. Let's just save that. So that's Berlin Variati. Thank you for joining us on this strange ride. It's always a good day to come to church. Get a little bit closer to God, since I hope you're out there meditating with your own synthesizers in your own way, because that's the only way to do it. Thank you so much. Patreon will be up soon. Appreciate all the support. Don't forget to love and subscribe.